Good afternoon, everyone. This is RAND, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Wednesday, March 26, 2025, a little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We're having a Time for Change call tonight after 9:15 p.m. Eastern. Why is it on this planet that we aren't everyone is not super wealthy, healthy, vibrant, and happy? It is because when we believe a certain way, we create that certain way. That's why there's so much diversity amongst the civilization of this planet, because we all have different influences. Some are not that great. Some are great. Some are super great. Some in between. And so we take this information, we assimilate it, we use it as these bodies grow and we experience. That doesn't mean that what we embrace is on the correct direction. So we take it and we follow it. And we create as we go along. This is why we have so much variance in this species, this civilization on planet Earth. And what is the key denominator? What's the key to it? The reason is that we do not have, when we start out in these lives, we don't have the appropriate information. So we're given information that comes from, it's kind of a repetitive circle, generation after generation after generation. It will deteriorate over time, when usually the same information starts to break apart and then there's holes in it, and so when it's given to the next generation, there's a lot of things missing. Why is that? I think it gets watered down as the time goes by. And you have parents that their parents, and so they give to their children what they believe is appropriate in most cases. And so then their children grow and take that information. You see how it's hugely impactful. Hugely impactful. Because this is how our civilization operates. Information is given. And how do you get the information? Well, when we're children, we don't have really much, let's say options. We're an empty vessel and it's filled up. It starts to get filled up very quickly. And, all this information coming in. Now, it isn't information. It's from other people and their perspectives and their attitudes, their emotions, and so on and so forth. And it is constricted by the ego mind. So we take it in. What else are we going to do, right? We're babies, very vulnerable. So we're open books and it's just filled up. We gain our personality and character by the time we're 7. And then we move from there. And we just maneuver. And do we stop getting information? No, it's throughout this entire life and all lifetimes. It's not like the programming stops. It just continues. So we become, I would say interdependent, dependent on this information coming in. Some of us then we stub our toe and discover, hey, wait a minute. I don't believe that this is the direction that I choose that I would like to take anymore. And some of us call it waking up. And some of you probably remember when you woke up and where you were. And it just happened. And I've had a lot of people just tell me, I don't know, it was just something just clicked. And everything changed at that moment. I became more inquisitive. This is what they've shared with me. They become more inquisitive and probing because they no longer take things at face value. And they realize that a lot of the things that they were taught had no weight to them. And so then they start to unravel all the different things that have been laid upon them as far as programming and schooling and teaching and all the instructionals and everything else that we go through in this life. Now, that does take a lot of time, doesn't it? It really does, because, you figure we spend a lot of our lives really trying to figure things out, right? And we do figure some things out. But we spend a lot of our existence in this life trying to figure things out. Where something just doesn't seem right, doesn't fit right, so we get curious. And we want to know, wait a minute here. This just doesn't seem to fit right. It's almost like it's being force-fitted. And all along, we have been seduced into material physical world. No ifs, ands, buts about it. Not a negative. But we choose, most of us will go through this lifetime and leave it. And then some of us will discover quite a few things and will comprehend that, well, I don't expire, the body does. So who and what I really am never dies. It's just the body. And look how we've been taught and trained to fear just about everything. Fear death, right? Most people don't know death of the body, not of us. So a lot of people don't know what's in store for me after this, afterlife, whatever. Why is that? Because of the man-made religions that have been foisted upon this civilization. There's a lot of them. Thousands of them. And those religions usually, in most cases, teach us there's something that's out there that is in charge and can be, in some cases, vengeful, destructive, punishing. And so you kind of want to mind your P's and Q's. So fear tactics are used in a lot of religions from a very young age. So you start to fear something that is supposed to be benevolent. Isn't that Arya? See, and as kids, that's what happens. We're filled with these different ideas from parents, friends, whoever, and we embrace them, and it kind of controls us along with the ego mind. And we live, and the only reason that we do is because we have not stepped away from the ego mind. We just haven't. And the reason I talk so much about the ego mind is because it is the center of discovery of our true freedom of who and what we are. It's the center of all of it. And we begin to comprehend it because we know how it operates. I mean, cripe, we've been in it so long. We know how it operates. So now we turn it, as it's a teacher, And then we leave it alone so that we can master it. We leave it alone and we master being in heart-mindedness in the now. And it's quite interesting. When I mention to people, they'll ask me certain questions, I say, I live in the now. I stay in gratitude 24/7. I live in the now. Because the now is all any of us will ever have in this life. That's a fact. And it's compared to about 30 years ago, people have become much more receptive to that. Of, being in the now, not being in yesterday or tomorrow. And that's a good thing, because I believe that more and more of the civilization on their own are basically deciding that, I'm done with living in yesterday and tomorrow. It doesn't mean that we won't slip in it on occasion, right? Because we've done it so long. But the wonderful thing about it is that we've identified the fact that we don't really care to be in it anymore. Right? It's taught us a lot. And as we view what it's taught us, we then are able to make a comparison. Most of us don't know what it's like to mostly be in heart-mindedness. Some of us have a difficult time even being there for 30 seconds. Because our ego mind's so busy. Busy. Got to do this, got to do that, got to do this, got to do that, got to do this, got to do that, got to do this. Are any of us exempt from it? Not really. But see, the more we can transition and decide to transition into heart-mindedness and watch and stay outside the ego mind, then we begin to master it. We become one with the God that we are. Okay? We literally become one. We're in a physical form, physical material world, where now we know how to truly operate in the material physical world. We don't know now because we are blinded from what we have been told. And when you begin to say to yourself, I don't really care to worry about this or worry about that. Why would I put my energies there? There's no reason for it. I put my energies where I want, on things that I want to have manifested in my life. Not the stuff that I find myself concentrating on that's negative, pretty much negative, disruptive, irritating, frustrating. So we each decide. Okay, some of us will stay there. And then we'll incarnate into another life and maybe figure it out in that lifetime. Because we have billions of lifetimes ahead of us. That's fact. Billions. So when you say things to yourself, right? Like, to many of us, the surprising truth is that we naturally are the spiritual source of abundance itself. You see how separated we've become from everything? And the irony to that is that separation is an illusion. Always has been. Yeah, wild? Is that we, all of us, each and every one of us, are the spiritual source of abundance itself. And on top of that, there are no limits on who you are or who you can be. Our very essence is abundant in all ways. Crazy, isn't it? Each of us, as an infinite, timeless being, inherently embody an abundance of love, peace, strength, compassion, and onward. Now, since we are abundance itself, all it takes to experience more abundance is to recognize and give thanks for all of the abundance that is already you. You see how that works? You are the essence of abundance. And to identify that and to be deeply grateful for that. Doesn't matter where you're at, what is going on. But to be deeply grateful, deeply rooted in a gratitude that you're the essence of abundance. In all ways. All shapes, forms. Now, the more that we become aware of our truly abundant inner nature, the more outer abundance will show up in our lives. And once we realize and see how abundant we already are, we will be amazed at how quickly we will start to manifest even more abundance to us in the form of what? Financial freedom, amazing relationships, incredible health, or tons of enthusiastic energy. This is our gig. You hear me talk about the fact that we have everything we'll ever need inside of us. There's nothing missing. There's nothing that is running out or lack of. We have everything we will ever need for billions and billions of lifetimes. Now, we just haven't taken our hands and reached deeply into our pockets to pull it out and embrace it. So we struggle. We fear. We worry. Anxiety, stress. All of these things are because we just haven't discovered just how powerful of beings we are in these bodies. We don't know that. This is why we do all the stuff that we do. It's how we perceive things. You could say to yourself that you have nothing, right? But then you do a flip on that and you say, but I am everything. Well, how can I have nothing when I am everything? And everything is me. See, those things start to seep in. And you begin to awaken much more clearly and say to yourself, I already am abundance. I'm the essence of abundance. This is how we've been designed. See, this is why we have these vessels. So that we can have anything we choose. Doesn't make sense that we enter lives, right? And that a lot of us struggle. Does that make any sense? And let's say that we don't struggle from the standpoint of saying we can have anything we want. We know that. Are we going to still learn? Absolutely. Still experience. But not the way we have been for so long. Where all this separation is. You notice? We got all these separations all over the place. You know? Yeah, look at them. They're way up there and I'm down here. They're up there. Wow. Guess that's the way it's supposed to be, right? No. All of us are the essence of abundance on this planet. Does that make us... Okay, so in this society, we said that we're kind of lower on the scale because of our financial condition, which then makes those people what? Feel inferior, which is absolutely asinine. But you see how things have been weaved, right, into the process. And so we've got this tremendous power that we very rarely use. So you become more and more aware of your inner nature, natural state of being, of what you are is what? The embodiment of abundance itself. And the more you become, more you move into gratitude for that you're deeply grateful that you are a omnipotently powerful, supreme manifesting abundant being that never dies. It's what you are. And then what happens is that you shift the outside frequencies and energies into a much higher vibrational frequency, which then does what? Which then opens up all the avenues, is that when you request or ask for this or that, it manifests. Now it's like, for a lot of people, it's like beating their head against a brick wall. They get so frustrated because they say, what the heck? And then once you see the abundance that you really already are, you're going to be amazed at how quickly you'll start to manifest even more abundance to you in the form of all kinds of things. Tons of things. It's like I said, we are a highly, a super powerful magnetized beings that can attract anything we choose. And a lot of us attract things that we really don't care to attract. Do we? And then you realize that you begin to talk with the universe. You get to communicate with the universe. And the universe will constantly show you. It'll give you a heads up all the time, just to remind you, just to keep you on centered focus. It will communicate with you all the time. Not temporarily, not a little bit. All the time. To let you know that it is there, always will be, always has been. That it has always taken care of you. And it is the best friend you will ever have. Period. And these are things, see, all this we possess, we have. It's part of our makeup as the gods that we are in these bodies. We use the body as a conduit. We use the body to manifest things for us. Not to us, but for us. So we manifest things, and we choose which we want to have manifested at that time. And then it's manifested, it comes in. Now we change direction, or we'll change perceptions, and then we'll manifest something else. And when you begin to feel who and what you, and you begin to embrace it, everything outside of you is going to shift immensely. You've heard me say often that everyone deserves the best of everything. Not, someone says I can't afford that one, I'll have to get that one. See what I mean? Why? Do any of us ever ask the question how silly it is? Well, we're super powerful beings in these bodies, and yet because of certain unnatural things like the amnesia that we are given, we just don't know it. Some of us will discover it in a lifetime. Others will take more lifetimes. But this is our essence. This is what, we're the essence of abundance. But yet you find so many people on the planet starving, in dire straits, sickness. You would believe that after a while, so many years, it wouldn't surprise one who is exposed to so many people with so many issues, ailments. And it's not, see, here's the interesting thing. So a lot of people would think that it would be older people that are incurring this. It isn't that way. There's a lot of younger people with, issues that you wouldn't believe they would have. And they do. And inside these bodies is such a powerful force that it can literally heal the body. How would you be if this planet and everybody on it was super wealthy? You don't know because you've never experienced that before. You can't make a comparison. Well, you can to a certain degree because we have a kind of a lay of the land on how things have been manipulated and how people have been moved into believing certain things. And then someone would say, well, no one would want to work, right? Well, if everybody was super wealthy, why would anybody want to work? Well, you look at people now that are super wealthy, they're working, they have some form of activity. See, we've been so, how do you put it, so conditioned to always believe that we have to, quote unquote, work, right? Instead of enjoy. That's a big difference. Let's put it this way. Let's say you do something. You get paid for it. But the difference is that it isn't work for you. It's enjoyment. This is a big difference. So you do it because you enjoy it. Yes, you get paid for it, but you enjoy doing it. So much so that you even do it on the weekends. And so you have people say, well, hey, why don't you come with us and let's go to that new restaurant or something, okay? And you go, no, I'm going to go home and I'm going to do this. What, you do that all week long? Yeah, I know, but it doesn't work for me. I enjoy it. This is my passion. I love doing it. Now, what would happen if that the majority of the civilization, super wealthy, did things they enjoyed doing? Wouldn't that be something? There's a lot of people that are very talented in a lot of different areas. It's just that they're convinced that they can't do it because they have to support themselves or their family or whatever. So they negate it. Okay? Do they ever get a chance at it? No, not usually. Sometimes. But the majority of times, no. They negate it. Now, when you're super wealthy, you're not going to need that. That won't be an issue. You'll be footloose, fancy-free, be able to do anything you want to do, and be able to enjoy it. We all have things, whether we know it or not, that we would like to do, but because of the way things are structured with the society on this planet, which is the human psyche, we don't. That shifts everything for all of us, because the element of not enough or not having enough to even get by is unacceptable. It truly is. The games that have been played and the deceptions and everything, we know, and more of us are getting to know that We just don't buy into it anymore. We just don't care to do it anymore. We've done it long enough. And this shift is massive. And on top of it, a lot of us are deciding to go the spiritual route. Not religion, but spiritual. What is the spiritual route? Well, it is basically going within and discovering who and what you are. It's like these meditations. You find a comfortable position. You make sure that you're not being distracted. Right? You begin to relax into your body. You're as still as you can be, focused on your breath rising and falling. And that's meditation that moves you where? Into the now. So that you can have a better viewpoint of the ego mind, so that you can master it. You leave it alone is when you can master it. When you don't leave it alone, you're not going to master it. You're just not. No matter how much you beat yourself up, you're not going to master it. And it isn't meant that way. It's meant as a tool, a vehicle that teaches us. Who do you think created the ego mind and the body? We did. The gods did. Not to say it's not great in some ways, right? Otherwise, we could, in other ways, we could say, nah, not for me. But I believe that this civilization is moving into unprecedented frequencies that it has never been in for any extended period of time. And I believe that there's going to be a lot of us that will increase our vibrational frequencies knowingly, that many of us will stay in deep gratitude 24/7 of the abundant beings that we already are. And I believe that things are going to shift humongously, and then we will be the masters rather than the slaves to the ego mind and our thoughts. Okay, so is that going to be boring for us? It'll be the opposite of boring. It's going to be spectacular because it'll challenge us. We'll question things. And we'll figure out that we don't need to pursue, but we do need to act. Which means what? Well, when we bring things in, we have to embrace them. That's an act. We don't embrace them, they just fly right by. And the love that we are building for ourselves is tremendous. It's knowing and loving yourself all the time and not being hard on yourself ever. Crucial stuff. And it's getting into the habit of doing that. So it's automatic, which means that you do it naturally. You don't have to remind yourself. You don't have to pinch yourself, poke yourself to get into it. You just do it because you want to do it, because you enjoy it. I've had a lot of people say it's really uncomfortable at first to make that transition. Yeah, probably is, because of the fact that, hey, we have been conditioned for millions of years. So it's different. Yeah, it is. I would say that it's a challenge to make the shift so that we have our awareness is sky high, our knowing is sky high, our comprehension is sky high through heart-mindedness. I believe that one of the toughest challenges for us is to embrace the God that we are within these bodies. without feeling guilty or remorseful or unsettled because we feel that we've done things that aren't good in this life, or we carry with us, instead of surrendering and forgiving ourselves. And then you move into the knowingly, you live in the now by choice. See, by choice. You live in the now. Someone says to you, hey, what are you planning? What are you planning for this weekend? Your answer is that, I stopped planning a long time ago. And then you might get a strange look. Okay? And now what I do is I live in the moment to moment, and it is phenomenal for me to live that way. And then they was, well, why is it so phenomenal? Well, it affords me the opportunity to master my ego mind and my thoughts. It's the only way I can do it. There's no other way. Many have tried other ways. Doesn't work. This way works. Every single time. So, our focus as we decide on this journey is this is a biggie, to discover, come out of amnesia, discover who and what we are in these bodies, embrace our existence, which is eternal, love ourselves in all things. Join you in meditation. I'll return to close this out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose. And an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still, relaxed into your body, focused on your breath rising and falling. When we look beyond our physical existence, we will soon discover the subtle realms and experience the infinite quality of our soul. Take a single glimpse into what is beyond this physical 3D world. It will reveal everything you need to know. Let something higher from the beyond enter you. For 5 seconds at least, 20 times randomly today, show yourself, allow yourself to feel the subtle energy inside your physical body. Turn into that emotional and super subtle energy you feel vibrating within your being. Get curious about what it is like and where it's coming from. Take this with you for the rest of the day into the evening and night and the following morning. We will return here tonight, Wednesday, March 26, 2025, after 9:15 p.m. Eastern to continue our time for change call. And Thursday, March 27, 2025, after 3:15 p.m. Eastern to continue our global guided meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal gratitude at all times, no matter what's going on in here or out there. Open your heart and allow the magic to flow in.